Hello Flosstube, my name's Kate, pronouns are she, her. I'm Petronella Rose on here and Petronella Rose on Instagram too. I haven't been around for a couple of months. You would have last seen me in August. There's a reason for that, which is mostly that I wasn't doing stitching for reasons, which you're going to hear about, because what I'm going to do is here is my cross stitch, here is my haul, here is my small life update. I would love to be able to do that. It would be my absolute pleasure to be able to do that, but I can't. I've got to give you a life update first. If you don't want a life update, that's fine. I will do the chaptery things, but please bear in mind that this is a life update that is an ongoing. It's going to affect the next 6 months. So yeah. I'd been thinking to myself, I want to do a WIP parade in the beginning of the year because I really need to go through everything I have. So many projects. I really need to go through everything and then make that my WIPGO for next year. But yes. So essentially, last video you would have seen, I was complaining a bit in the editing process. There were notes about I feel, oh, I'm knackered or whatever. I got quite ill. I got a little bit ill that week, and then the Monday after I posted that, I ended up in A&E, which was fun. And basically, I had 3 weeks of being ill, just lots thrown up. 3 visits to A&E, gastroenteritis, have some anti-nausea pills, go home, right up until the point when I was throwing up stuff where they were not happy with the stuff I was throwing up, and an MRI scan revealed I had a complete bowel obstruction. So that was fun. So I had not as emergency as it could have been surgery, because they did point out if I was sick again, I would have been in surgery within half an hour. But I wasn't. I would manage to not be sick again, and they didn't have to put me into surgery till the next morning. So quite frankly, that's a very small achievement in the scheme of things. So yes. So if I have found, my brain is even more soup than usual, as you can imagine. If I have found the picture that the helpful nurse highlighted for me, here is a picture of exactly what I no longer, the bit of me that got removed. So they took out a nice chunk. I have a nice scar down my front. Yeah, so that was fun. But UK, NHS, yes, it did take me 3 weeks to actually get, but I was just like, it's stomach pain and I'm being sick a lot, and they're like, nothing showing on your blood tests, up until the point when it was a problem, and then they jumped straight to it, and it hasn't cost me a penny, not a single penny. Well, a little bit of a few pennies, because of impulse buys while I'm like half out of it on, morphine. Anyway, so yes, that happened. I had just over a week in hospital. My recovery was aided by the fact that my sense of humour is dark and weird and odd, and a couple of the nurses and doctors, they had, especially when I was on the opiates, they didn't quite know how to take it. The bless to the doctor in A&E, who was the one who saw me and sent me off the MRI, and then went through the consent forms and things with me and all the rest of it. Or someone else went through, the surgical team went through the consent forms with me, and then she came in and she was like, are you okay? Are you okay? This is a big thing. There's all these risks of the surgery. And I was like, yeah, but if I don't have the surgery, and it was like, yeah, surgery or death. Surgery, please. Like cake, please. And I was like, I've got to get through the surgery. This was the late on Monday night. I've got to get through the surgery. I know I'm going to get through the surgery. It's going to be fine. New Taylor Swift album coming out on Friday. She was like, oh yeah, there is. So we then had a conversation about Taylor Swift for about 5 minutes, which was lovely. So I hope she really enjoyed that album, because I didn't see her again after that. You see, like, I saw different people in A&E every single time I went, and yeah. But anyway, so when my Spotify Wrapped came out, it proved that it had helped, because I woke up at about 3 a.m, 4 a.m, whenever it was. It was probably about half an hour after the album had dropped, so whenever, and put it on repeat for basically about 3 days. But it flagged up in my Spotify Wrapped that that was what I was doing. So thank you to Taylor Swift for releasing such an upbeat album. But yes, anyway, yeah, hospital for a week, came home. Lots of kind of shuffling about. You're not allowed to lift anything as a whole. Don't, because they've obviously cut through your muscles. Don't lift anything heavier than you can't lift anything heavier than a half full kettle for like 6 weeks. And I was like, okay, I don't drink tea or coffee, so that's fine. Anthony's been doing all the housework. He's been doing the dishwasher. He's been doing all the laundry. He did a lot of the, cooking, things like that. He's kept everything running. Bless him. Yes, so yeah, they got it out. Friends of mine are calling it the blob. The blob was removed. The blob was cancerous, but it then eventually came back as being it's stage 2, which means it is bigger than it's sizable, but it hasn't spread anywhere. It had what they call clean margins, so there's enough stuff around it. It wasn't in my lymph nodes. Had another CT scan, MRI thing. Chest was completely clear, liver's clear, all the kind of important bits. But it was something like 0.1 of a millimeter too close to a blood vessel. So I had to have chemo. It's fun. I mean, it's not fun, but it's fun. But it's tablets at home. They were like, you can have an IV once a week for 6 months, or tablets at home, taken for 2 weeks, week off, taken for 2 weeks, week off. I was like, yeah, that, thanks, because the amount of hassle they had getting cannulas and things into me in the hospital for putting drips in. Yeah, no, my body doesn't like. My blood vessels go, oh no, thank you. We want to hang on to that. So yeah, so there's my next 6 months look like that. Tomorrow is the last day of cycle 1. It's mostly been fine. I feel sick a bit. My hair's coming out. You're not supposed to lose your hair, as it's not as likely with bowel chemo, but it does look very different because it started coming out post. It was like 5 weeks post surgery. It comes out. It was like post surgery shock, so it's definitely got thinner, and it's also doing this. This is fun. Look at that. Literally comes out like that every time I put my hand through it. So I might be in a hat next time. Don't know. Might buy an amazing purple wig. I've still got the purple. It's still there. I'm just putting that in the bin because I don't need hairballs all over my floor. But yes, it looks very free. It feels thin. I need a hat to wear to the hockey. But yeah. So I didn't read. Like when I was ill in September, and literally all I was doing in September was I was attempting to drink water, I was throwing up, or I was asleep. That was pretty much it. I could still read, sort of, but not a lot. But then kind of post surgery, I couldn't focus to read for like 3 weeks, which is not how my brain works. And I couldn't hold. I had a load of bruising from the IVs and stuff, and couldn't do fiddly things. So literally didn't do any sewing for ages too. So much for I'm going to sew every day of the year. The universe went, yeah, bet. I don't think so. But anyway, I'm here. I'm not dead. Not dead. There's an Instagram post. Oh, there's an Instagram post. There's a post on my Instagram with stuff, if that has stuff into. But it has humorous photos of the mash that was my first meal and things like that. There's a lot of I have to be all the stuff that you're supposed to eat to give yourself a healthy digestive system. Lots of high fiber and high fiber and high fiber, and they're like, ooh, no, not for you. So yeah, it's lots of what they call low residue. It's like I can eat peaches and apricots, but peeled. No dried fruit. Do not eat dried fruit. Do not pass go. I can have, but that's how it was immediately. Now it's I can eat stuff as long as I'm careful. I made myself really ill on Sunday because I had a curry on Saturday night. And I was really careful with it. I picked something where I tried not to. I made it the mildest thing possible and not too much sauce, and didn't have naan bread because gluten is a thing. But no. But I blame but I'm also give full credit to, because I thought if I had a bagel with a whole load of poppy seeds and stuff like that on that I wouldn't normally eat, and it gave me really bad indigestion on the 2nd of September. And if it hadn't been for that, that was the kickoff point. It gave me indigestion, and then that was obviously causing an issue that flared everything up. Otherwise, I had no symptoms. None of the symptoms they tell you to look for. None of them. So who knows when they would have found it. So I'm very glad they found it when they did. Even if it was a bit of a bugger, but we're all right now. So yes, that's my life update. I still have one. It's good. Sorry, I've been meaning to film this for like 2 weeks, and keep filming bits and putting it off, and filming bits and putting it off, and now I'm just like, sod it, because I want to do the whip parade thing on New Year's Day. It's probably, I might end up filming it on New Year's Eve in the afternoon. I might end up filming it on the 2nd of January. I might end up filming it on the 3rd of January. I want to film it in the new year. Just that beginning bit to basically go over plans and whip parade. And I need to do that from downstairs, because all my projects are downstairs. All the storage is downstairs, and I cannot physically carry it all up. I have to sit down and have a rest for 15 minutes after I carried all the stuff up for this video. So we're not doing everything else. So yes, so I've said that too many times. I do apologise. You're just getting me. It's always chaos. This is worse, because this is soup. So my WIPGO, and I can't remember what photos I've got of things or whatever, so I'm going to hold stuff up, and then if I have photos, I'll put them in, and if I don't, I don't. Yeah. So the WIPGO-ness, at least I can look at it, and you can have a photo. The WIPGO-ness went to pot. So I won't end up finishing. I can't even remember what I said I was going to do. Oh, I did myself I made myself a new, I love these. This is a tomer where you get pages and you get discs, and you can pop things in and out as you wish. So I've moved my WIPGO thing from my normal diary into its own book. But it does mean, and somewhere in here I think are all the notes about, oh, I was going to do this last time. I was going to do that. I was going to do that. Oh, yeah, there we are. Flosstube 18. So it was Quiet Town threads. Quiet Town and Turtles were last time, and then it was both, work on Anthony's choice things, and he said work on what you did last time. I can't remember what they were, but basically I did none of that. I've done nothing as planned. I thought about doing some work on the turtles, but I just haven't felt the urge to pick them up. About the only thing that I did do was the fact that December is a new start, and hell yeah, I had a new start. I had a couple, and we'll have a few more, because yes, I've got a lot of projects, but also, fuck it, these are things I want to start. So at the moment, I have done next year's WIPGO board. Sorry. Next year's WIPGO board is dead exciting. It looks like that. Ta-da! Where I've put in projects I've been working on or have thought to work on and things like that. So it's got like my Frozen on it, Rainbow City, Anatolia, blah, 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 blah. And then there's lots of spaces, because I figure when I'm going through all my whips downstairs, I'm going to go through things and go, oh, I really want to work on that. I know I have I want to call it Black Rock Garden. Don't know if it's called Black Rock Garden. Fairly sure I've got a photo of it. That. By Ink Circles, which is like black work and stuff. And I want to do some work on that. So that'll end up on here. But I know that as I go through my giant boxes of Doom projects, that I will be like, oh, that one, oh, that one, oh, that one. Hence the spaces. Put things on, and it will be 6 lengths of thread per project as they get picked. Because, or work on it till work on it when it gets picked, and do at least 6 lengths of thread, and then I can put it away, or then I can keep going on it, and I'm stitching by vibe, because that's what I need to do. For that, I haven't been working on. Yeah, I haven't been doing the Lovely Dobbies sals, the No Obligation sal, and Outer Spite sal. The No Obligation one because I'd have to pick something, and the Outer Spite sal because it's Twisted Rainbow sampler on black fabric, and it's dark, and also I'm mentally tired and my eyes are tired, and trying to do dark fabric stitching was not a good idea. I've had to put the damn, can you see it? It's like a really cool like infinity symbol lamp light, but it's the big light. I've had to put the big light on because I have no idea where I have no idea where my English is. I have no idea where my ring light is. It's somewhere. I think it's downstairs, but I don't know. And the fairy lights were not cutting it for cross stitch. So yes, WIPGO will happen. There will be a WIP parade video, and then off the back of that there will be in January I'm going to do this, and in December I don't think I'll even do the next 2 weeks video. It will just be like, because you're going to see what I'm doing. But yes, that's that. First project. Oh, related to first project. So I'm related to my tangents are tangenting in real time. Oh my god. No, stop it. So one of the things that Anthony did when I was ill is yes, hockey. I'm having a hockey tangent, not a cross stitch tangent. Hockey tangent. I had to miss a hockey game that we bought tickets for because it was 2 weeks post surgery, and no way I was getting in the car to drive to Coventry for an hour, sit in to stand, and then sit in the hockey rink for 3 hours, and then driving out home. As it was, they went. I had a nap. I was awake for a bit and watched it on text updates. I had another nap. I woke up in time to pay for the car parking as they left because I've got the app on my phone, and then I had another nap before they got home. So yeah, that wouldn't have worked. But when we did eventually go to the hockey, in fact, 2 days before I filmed the video, I'd been paid. I had bought. They do fan sponsorships, and you get your name in the program when you pick your player. So I picked. I'm just trying to put fingers over surnames. I picked Connor Russell, and did a bronze sponsorship. And Megan, I bought Megan Grayson Constable, who is her favourite, and she got a silver sponsorship. So I got photos. They're there. I'm going to take a photo. I'm going to take a photo of those there. So I got the photos, and then I got a sign pack, which I put in a box, which is quite cute. Megan, the silver sponsorship gets you the puck, or a Grayson puck, obviously. Gets you the same photos of Grayson, and gets you a stick. Now, so the first time we went, we did actually go to the hockey where I was feeling better, and we went there and it was ready. We had to go and get this stick, and then I had to sit in the stands with it. And I've stolen it from her room, so you get to see what I'm doing. Haha. So they basically get more to scribble on it. Ta-da! All the way along. Now it's a stick that's got broken because it wobbles. It's a stick that's been broken, which quite right too, because this is like 200 odd quid. It's quite tall. When I say it's quite tall, I'm 5'11". When I'm standing up, I keep going to move it and it doesn't work. When I'm standing up, the curve of this blade sits here. So we're fairly sure we know whose stick it is, and we think it's Vertidon's because the tape job matches. It's I don't know if I can show you the curve on it. You're all like, what the fuck is this hockey? See the way that curves? It's a left-hander stick because of the way the curve is curving. We're fairly sure it's Vertidon's, and he's like 6 foot ridiculous. Bless him. He's adorable, and he's a really nice bloke. But he is very, very tall. Very, very tall. But yes, so Megan got her stick when we went to the game. But while I was ill, Anthony was like, oh, you've had some post. I was like, oh, what's the post? Yeah, well, SIM card. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. daft bugger. They do, they'll do you a birthday card or they'll do you a Christmas card. So he went, can we make it a get well soon card? So I've got everybody's signatures apart from one, because he'd literally, his wife and partner had just had a baby about a week before. And then he couldn't remember my favourite player. He's like, oh, it's the guy with the name. So I have a signed photo of Ivan Chukarov that says get well soon, not a signed photo of Artem Buzavera that says get well soon. That's fine. Artie's on the front of the programme. And I have a jersey of his that we have. So yeah, spreading the love. Russell gets the puck sponsorship. Artie, I get Artie's shirt. That's the way that works. But yes, so related, but a bit more of a tangent than I meant it to be. But anyway, relating to get well soon, the darling, amazing, fantastic Dobby, covered in floss, we send each other Mimi things on Instagram a lot. And she'd sent me a Mimi thing on Instagram at some point, and I'd answered her about it, and then she'd asked how I was, and I was in the mood where I was, so yeah, hospital. She's like, oh my God. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. But she sent me a present that I completely wasn't expecting. And she did have, she said there was assistance. And I know who some of her assistance was from. So I think she said it was Talking Dog Stitchery had helped, but also I know Cross Stitch Jess helped. So Dobby sent me this pattern. Ooh, yeah, you're getting it with glare. I'm sorry, I'm not taking it out of the bag. Which says, let's cheer each other on and watch each other grow, and is like the growing friendship. And what I have, and she sent me this. I got this with all the DMC to stitch it, and a project bag to put it in, and a lovely bar of chocolate as well, which I have eaten, which is downstairs because I'm still eating it very, very slowly, because anything that actually tastes nice gives me heartburn, obviously. But this has become, I decided to make this my chemo project. So I am stitching a length of thread on this every day that I am taking the chemo tablets, and then we'll see where we're getting to, see how long it's taking, and if I do a little bit more than that, then I do a little bit more than that. This is where we are right now. Please don't shine the lights through the back. This is where we are right now. The fabric, so the fabric in the thing is like a yellow. What did it say it is? Mary's Sampler linen. It's like yellowy. And I was looking at what I had, and this, I don't know if you can. Oh, you could then. Can you see the mottling? So this is a piece of jonquil by Crafty Kitten, 32 count Murano. And it's like yellows, and then those are very pink. They don't look so pink there, but they're pinky. And I don't know if you can get that fabric or not. I would have got it in a themed box in 2016, because that was the year I had, maybe early 2017. That was when I had fabric. I was subscribed to like monthly boxes. For that one. So yeah, I haven't done any on that yet today. The middle, I started in the middle, which is like here, and then I figured I'd go. So I did letters up to know where the top was for this, and then I've been doing letters sideways and filling in the grey. Ooh, will this fit? It fits for me, is what it does. I was slightly concerned. It's one of those things when it's things like this, and I'm like, oh, it's really pale, and there's loads of white colours and stuff like that in. All the white has darker colours around it. But yes, so that arrived, and it arrived in this lovely bag from Cross Stitch Jess, with a gorgeous lining, and then these are all the threads, which I put on. I bought myself one of my impulse, like, oh, let's buy bobbins. I bought a load of plasticky bobbin things floss drop things off Amazon. They're slightly annoying because, like, to me they hang upside down. Like, it's like the hole's in the wrong corner. The hole shouldn't be the same corner as the thread. It shouldn't be the same side as the thread. To me, the thread needs to be the other side. They've got like a, this is like a, you can potentially slide the label on, but I didn't want to do that. I got some washi tape and put the code, put the symbol and then the floss number, the DMC number, and then that's on there like that. And then I cut those to length. And I had I had wanted did I actually, I think I used that. I wanted to, I've been meaning, or I want to get one of the pip and chip floss rulers so that you can wind it round and cut it through. And I was using a ruler to wind it round and cut it through, and that was no good because the ruler kept having a wobble, because it's one with a Megan's one for her school pencil case, so it's a 30cm ruler or 12-inch ruler, but it folds in half, so it was having wobbles. But in the end, I want to say I think I just used the pattern. Literally went round and round the pattern. If it wasn't this pattern, it was another one. That's what I went round and round, and it worked. So that was haul. When I was ill, which is how I know, well, apart from the bag, I know there was assistance from Cross Stitch, yes, because while I was ill, at the very end of, I think it arrived the week before I ended up in hospital, I'd bought a bag from Jess myself. I had bought a really nice chunky bag from Jess. So when the box arrived that had that in, I was like, huh? I know the handwriting, I know the return, like, I haven't ordered anything else. So thank you to Dobby and thank you to Jess for assistance. And yes, that's now my chemo project. So we'll work on that every day and we'll see what we get to. This one contains a new start, which I don't think I can show you because I haven't put, well, I can show you. Can't show you the pattern. I mean, I can't show you the picture, like physically, which is what I want to do. But I can't because I haven't put it in here. What I have in here is my stitching. This is from a new cross stitch magazine. I don't think it's even the last one that came through the door. I think it was the one before that. And it's an Emma Congdon, and it's one of those like cut out, and then it's a house. And I think the colour that's used on the thing, I've literally, I cut the chart out of the magazine. Is there a picture? Nope. Is it on the other side? Sorry, there will be. I would say I'd be sensible. Aha! I basically cut the chart pages out and stuck them on the magnetic board, and then looks like this. Ta-da! And it's all one colour. And I don't have that colour, but I have a cone of whatever that is, which was the one that is used heavily in my Frozen, and I bought a cone of it forever ago. So I'm working on this because it felt Christmassy and cozy. The only thing I do need to do is I've started in the middle and I'm working up, because I need to rechart this, because yes, it's very nicely spaced, but the fact that like there's bits where letters are suddenly like that E is wider than that E, and I know it's so it fits, but no, I can't cope with the fact that evening has an N in it and an E in it that are both like just a line. I'm just trying to get the magnets back on. A line fatter than the other words in that letter. The other words in that letter. The other letters in that word. Told you, tired. But yes, so there's the. Oh, it's 3808. There we are. What on me? And that's like, this is. It's over two. It's two. It's 2 over 2 on 16 count sparkly Ada, which was sparkly Ada that was left over from the giant piece of sparkly Ada I bought Stitch Frozen on. So I've had the sparkly Ada a while. But yeah, so that's getting picked up when I want to stitch on something and think and just bleh. It feels a bit, it just feels a bit gappy, like it feels gappy, but it isn't gappy. And I know it's not gappy. I can see the stitches. Should be able to see the stitches. It doesn't happen on the frozen one because they're so close together. I don't know what's happening on this one more. I don't care. I do like it. Every now and again I'm like, oh, I can see the stitches. That's the point. The point. It's a cross stitch. You're supposed to be able to see the stitches. Get your brain gear. So yes, that's both haul and a new start there for that one. Other projects I have been projecting on. I have literally just been bouncing. The one thing I did do was so Anatolia. I wanted to do a page finish on, and I did that. In fact, I did slightly more than a page finish because there should be a lot, like 3. There's a motif along the bottom here, and about 3 stitches up of it fit onto that page, but the page is like that wide. So what I did do, like these 2 and all of that and some of these are on like the next page over, but I thought I might as well fit, they're a full set, that something else happens over here. So yeah, so that's where that is. There's a bit of it's out of, I've used the grime guard on something else. You can see there's the other side of it. So yes, I will have put a picture in so that you can see what the pattern looks like. I had a slight panic when I was working on it that I was suddenly not going to have enough floss for that big chunk at the bottom to fill all that in, because this is Carrie's Creation threads, where they don't make them anymore. And I had a sudden panic, and then I looked at it properly and I went, you've stitched it like it says use this many strands, and on this count it works out as this, and then this count it works out as that, and on this 28, 32, 36. I was going, oh god, what if I've done it on 28 count and the model was on 36 count and I won't have enough thread. No, I do have enough. It told you how many threads you need. The model is 32 and this is 32, so I will have enough thread. My brain just went into panic mode. So I'd worked on that half an hour. I am trying to finish this quickly because I got myself hooked on a thing, and they go live at 5 o'clock. I want to go and watch it. So I will wrap up because my alarm's going to go off in 12 minutes and make me stop. So other things. Good Witch, which I'd worked on before, where I'm stitching the black to get all the black done, and then we'll go back and fill in colours as we go. So Artie, my love, come here, be useful. So that is the first 2 pages of that. The whole thing, I said this before, the whole thing will fit across on the Q-snap, and the whole thing will fit down on the Q-snap. So this is 25 count Magic Guide, and I can't remember if it is DMC or I don't need to remember if it's DMC or the other one. What's the other one? L. Doesn't matter, says it on the back. DMC. That's fine. So these squares are double squares. So it's 400 stitches a square. So yes, so we've gone all the way across to there, and then we will, that's obviously the page edge, that's obviously the page edge. We've got a lot of hair going on there, we've got some eyelashes, a bit more swoopy hair, hat. So this is Good Witch, and obviously if I work on Good Witch, I also need to work on Wicked Witch. Wicked Witch, however, is a bit of a pain, because obviously I'm doing all the black. She's got a lot of hat. So I'd done that page and done the black for it. I finished everything on this page that wasn't hat, and like, oop. So there's the page. So there's the page edge there, and this is hat. And then I have literally just been doing like a length at a time and doing a load and filling it in as like mindless black close-up stitching. And it's fine. There were a couple of times I thought, oh, you can really tell. I think it was because like I'm doing like, you can see I'm doing half stitch and then going back again. I don't know if it's doing that for you, but it's having real lighting issues when I'm holding this close. Warm, cold, warm, cold. Can't decide if it needs to be yellowy or bluey. There's nothing in this room strobing. Why are you doing this, camera? But yeah, there were a couple of points where like I've gone from stitching, and I also am holding this sideways at the moment when I'm stitching it. So I'm going across and then back and then across and then back. But here, like I'd filled in a square and then I've met up to it, and now I'm going all the way across and back again. But I can't see any lines. Like it's not lining to me, it's just black. It's black. So yeah, we're trying to get that done, and then there'll be obviously the third page of her. The hat is going to come down like swoopy outy. We've got an eyebrow and things in there. So yes, there will be some more of her. I basically blitzed through the page on Goodwitch, blitzed through all of this, a load of this bottom page bit on her, and then that there will be photos of where I stopped of page 1, so they will be in there, because I might not be aware of when I've taken, like I haven't taken pictures every time I've done a bit, but I do take pictures when I stop and put something away, usually. So just looking at this pile and going, what is that? Oh, okay, you're not what I need. You're not what I need either. You're not actual stitching. So I did a little bit more on the one I was doing for my, sorry zips, the Rainbow City blueprint for the Rainbow City that I was doing as a dead easy thing. I did a bit more of that, but not much of it, but a bit more. That I was working on in September. The odd days I felt well enough to like sit up and come downstairs and stitch while I was vaguely watching something on television. The other thing that I'd done was I had started zips. And do I have a picture that's showable? Do or not? Do or do? Do a, yeah. Do or do or do? I don't think I've got a photo of this, so which is why I'm making sure I hold the picture up. This is something of Dragons and Apples by Quaternion Creations, which was a stitch along at some point, but is obviously all out and here. And then what I've done with this is I'm swapping all the kind of the apples are all red, and there's different red bits on that egg, and then there's also, I think it's 3 colours. There's the red, there's the black, and there's like a grey in like the wings. I think this is the actual like all on one page pattern keeper type thing that I've printed, but I can't find a cover sheet. But yeah, there's like 3 colours, like the mushrooms are like grey. And what I had decided to do, I'd started stitching this for Lindsay Stitching Magic 111's like birthday magic sal thing, and I'd gone with black, and then I thought to myself, I'll have a look at, I've got random threads, so I've got some gold treasure braid. I've then got a whole load of threads that came out of Crafty Kit, that came from Crafty Kitten. So there's one called Twilight Shadows, which is not showing particularly well, sorry. Can't take them all out. I'll never get them. Dragon Forest, which is what made me think of it. Ocean Ridge, which is like a darker. These are terrible, I'm sorry. I'll try and take a picture when I'm downstairs and put it in instead. And Aurora. But basically they're all of they're kind of blues and purples and a little bit of pink, and then different blues and things depending on them. So this is where I am. This is chaos. I do apologise. This is where I am. All the apples are going to be gold. Everything basic is black. I think this ended up on 16 count. I can't remember. It was just whatever. It was something that I pulled out of the drawer of fabric and went, yeah, let's do that. And then I can't even remember which of the colours I've used so far. But I'm basically using those based on vibes. But all the kind of most of the grey bits will be that, but all the apples will be golden apples. But yes, again, that was mostly September. I don't think I'd done all the black on it. I did the apple after I came out of hospital, and then I didn't want to work on it anymore, so I stopped. Very much stitching by vibe. But that is actually all the things I've been stitching on. In terms of hauly stuff, I've bought all sorts of random stuff. I've bought a whole load of Q-snaps. I've got like 2 spare Q-snaps in all the sizes that I use. Although I haven't bought any grime guards, which is annoying because then I'm having to move grime guards from project to project. It is what it is. I bought 2 patterns on Etsy from Stitchy Princess, who I think is Katerina. Yes, Katerina Voska-Boinkova, who is from Ukraine, because I like the style of Owl Forest, but Owl Forest are Russian and I won't buy anything from them at the moment, so I keep looking around for similar designs, and then I found hers and I was like, perfect. So these are possibly going to be really glary. Oh no, but again, I don't think I've got, I have to go and take pictures and put them in. I literally physically cannot. So this one is called Deers in the Wood, which I bought because I'm just like, yeah, I like that. I like that. Look at the hedgehog. And there's a snail. Where's a snail? There's a snail. And I thought there was another. Yeah, there's a little caterpillar thing. Look at him on those. And I just like that. I was like, yeah, I like that. I'm going to buy it. So I did. And then the other one is this one, where I'm desperately trying to work out find the fabric for it, because I absolutely believe, well, obviously I love it. I bought it. But it's like, I love that. I would like to start it sooner rather than later, which is one called Carved Mirrors, which is actually quite hard to see-ish. But she's standing there and she's looking. This is my thing where I'm like, to me, the fabric and the floss is too similar, that there's not good contrast. Like that there's, whether it's the printing, I don't know, but there's the gold, there's like banding all around that, and then it's lots of mirrors and she's looking in a mirror, and I loved it. I love it, so I bought it. We're not putting that back in the bag. The other things I bought while I was having a moment was I went on to Lakeside Needlecraft, and I bought myself, I think I bought myself, I possibly told you about this one last time, I bought Embracing Horses, which is a Mill Hill one from Laurel Birch. These are the beadlets. That comes, there's all the floss. Comes on this really gorgeous purple, which is completely see-through. Really gorgeous purple fabric. So hence one of the clip frames, and then the tissues underneath so it grips and doesn't damage the stuff. So I've got that, and that is basically ready to go with the stitching. And then I also have the one I've just yeeted onto the floor. I do apologise. Oh, shouldn't have been. That hurt. I also have with clip frame the one I haven't yet put on, I think, which is Riviera Horses, which is gorgeous. Yes. All right. I'm nearly done. Riviera Horses, which is obviously on this gorgeous yellow. And again, I sorted all the threads out for that. That was something I could sit and do mentally. I bought myself, yeah, see, there's something else. I bought a load of DMC cards so that I had them to put on. because for something like this, I like having cards instead of, and also at that point I hadn't gone sod it and bought 100 million plastic bobbins. I bought those. I also sat down and worked out the threads I would need for my steam bee that I want to start. I'm going to start on my birthday, which is in less than a week. As I'd bought more fabric for that, which is then the other fabric that isn't DMC full coverage, because it's the squares on that are smaller. Magic Guide fabric are smaller. L starts with an L. Zweigart, yeah, that's an L. Soup. I tell you, it's soup. Speaking, I have been eating a lot of soup and pasta. I've got like, that's something I've impulse bought. I have like 15 different tiny pasta shapes, little stars, little stringy bits, little round things, little, so that I can put different things in soup. Threads for steam bee. So yeah, different fabric. Sorry. I basically looked at the chart and picked out all the colours that are in the first. I'm going to do it as a centre start because I can't do it from the edges, because I'm not going to do all the black. I'm going to do it so it can be like an oval shape, and each of the corner pages are black, full black. So no corner starts there, it's going to start in the centre. So I looked at the first 100 squares, wrote down all the colours that were in there. So I think there's 33 colours in that first square of 100. And then looked at the squares round it, the 8 squares going round, and the colours that those are. And then looked to see if any of those threads were then in the project for less than, I think I literally did it as less than 10 stitches. I'm working on collecting that full set for them. But this time I just did it on less than 10 stitches. And I think there were like 5 of them or something. So I bought something like, there's 90. I'm sure I wrote this down. Sure, this is written down on a piece of paper and I don't have to do actual mental maths. I have like, look, Kate, you wrote this down for when you were planning it out. Yeah, you did. I knew I'd written it down somewhere, I just didn't know it was here. So there are 34 threads in the first central square, and then in the 8 squares around there's another 31. There are 90 something threads in total. I didn't buy black because I've got a cone of black. If this needs, however much black this is going to need, the cone should do it, and if not, I will buy more. There were, again, there was a couple of them I didn't buy because there's like 3 stitches. There's tiny amounts of stitches in the central bit, and there's barely any stitches in the whole piece, so I will pull those from elsewhere. There's a couple of them where there's like 8 skeins of this are needed, so I did buy the 8. 8 skeins are needed in total for the whole piece, so I did buy the 8. And I ordered all of those, so they've all come. They're all on the bobbiny things, and I will start that on my birthday. So you will see that in my WIP. Right. Otherwise, what else? Oh, one last pattern before another slight tangent. I'm really noticing the light is just fading in and out, so I hope this isn't terrible. I love Charlie Harper. Charlie Harper patterns are awesome. I'm also quite fond of a certain little currently on in being dripped out. It was an installment Canadian TV series, which was obviously first books, which is called Heated Rivalry. And this cost me twice as much shipping as the pattern did. So of the whole cost, the pattern was 1/3 of it and the shipping was 2/3. Which is, I can take this out because it's such an old pattern, it's a separate photo. So this is Clair De Loon. So you have a loon, Charlie Harper loon, and it's babbies. And then you can see like the reflections of it. And it's gorgeous and it's amazing. The pattern is horrible. I knew the pattern was going to be horrible because this is like copyright like 1980 something. It is only, oh no, I can't say 1980 something, I think it's 1990 something, which is not as old as that. It's 4 colours for the actual stitching, and then red for the back stitch. But the way the pattern is laid out is so you have this piece. I can't read it when I'm looking at it like this, so good luck to you. You have like this piece, and then on the back you have like this piece, and then there's part C, which is quite a good part, and part C says see the back side of D for overlap, and like you can, like, that's not full reflection. That bit is, that's a reflection of his neck, but this and this are the. I am very slowly when I can, because lifting is a pain and my laptop is basically set up permanently on the table. So have a picture, probably, so that I can have it hooked into the TV. So every now and again I move it and I sit there and squint at the pattern and transfer it into Winstitch so that I will have a usable pattern to stitch from. But I love it. If you are aware of the existence of Heated Rivalry, if you have read that book, you will know The Loon. If you are watching it, if you are in America and watching it on HBO, if you are in Canada and watching it on Crave, if you are in Europe and watching it via high seas sites, or you are me and you bought a VPN and keep telling the internet that you're in Montreal so that you can then sign into your Crave subscription. So I paid twice, and it comes out in the UK in January. Yeah, so I bought a cross stitch for a TV series. The other thing I bought, which full credit to this one, goes to Sam. Something like Sam Snail, Slow Snail Stitcher. I don't know. I have been watching bits and pieces of Flosstube, and then every now and again I'm watching someone and binging on their stuff. But I'm failing to leave comments on anybody's videos. But I have watched a lot of them. We are where we are. But she was showing her cross-stitch planner, and that she prints off little pictures with her little printery thing. And I was like, that's such a good idea. That's such a good idea. Oh, I can't justify buying myself one of those. I can't justify buying myself one of those. I really can't. I really can't. I really can't. What I can justify doing is going, Megan would love one of those. So that's what we did. And of course, I had to test it out. So I have a whole load of little, bless them, little Heated Rivalry pictures they've put up as like, this can be your screensaver. I'm like, yes, it can be my screensaver, but it can also be like a little stickery thing to make me happy. Is what it can be. Ooh, the glare. So yes, so I bought her that, and it came with paper, and then I've had to buy her another box of paper. Because her bedroom looks like that in terms of hockey posters that she has printed from the internet. So therefore I figure more little printy things for her and for me. So yes, that's where we are. That is yelling at me. We have 5 minutes till I'm going to go and watch. I randomly got hooked on a hockey podcast because these two kind of like hockey blokes were talking about Heated Rivalry and taking it seriously. I was like, men taking romance novels seriously? I'm quite. This is like, and then I got myself hooked, and they do like a live broadcast of their podcast, and it keeps me busy. I am back at work. I've literally been back at work a week and a half, or a week and a bit, a week and a day. Jesus, I've been back at work a week and a day. I'm doing like a few hours every morning, but otherwise I hadn't been into work since September because I just couldn't. So that was unfun. But anyway, I have waffled enough. You have heard everything. Oh, except I've just turned around and then remembered that I bought these little buggers as well. the amount of stuff I bought to make myself happy. There is a kids TV series called Abney and Teal, and these are the Pop Box. If I can find that they exist on YouTube, I will put a link in the thing below. Otherwise, they are on BBC iPlayer. Megan was hooked on them as a kid, on the TV series, and I love the TV series. And so I found those on Etsy and went, yes, I'll have those, thanks. But anyway, I need to go. You need to go, because this is an hour, and I didn't expect to be waffling for an hour. I need to go and give Megan her hockey stick back, because she's gone up to her room, but I don't think she's noticed it's gone. So I shall save this here. I will be back for the whip parade. I'm going to try and invent something else for next year. But I'm doing all right. 1 minute along. More updates on Instagram than on here. Not that many updates on Instagram, to be honest. It's all Hit Your Rival Boys in my brain. But yes, right, I'm going. You're going. If you have sat through all this, I adore you. Quite frankly, if you skipped past bits, then you skipped past bits, or you played me on triple speed. If you played me on double speed, I'm impressed. I'm really impressed. I bet hair's going to annoy me. I'm really impressed. And I love you. I'm going away. And I'll see you soon.